Fueled by C4, Cellucor, and Extend. Use the code Clydesdale to get 20% off at checkout at c4energy.com. On Clydesdale Media, where we bring you the widest array of content here on our YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notifier so you're the first to know when new episodes are available. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Clydesdale Media Weight Loss Journey. My name is Scott Schweitzer. I'm the Clydesdale. She's Cheryl Nesso. She's my nutrition coach. And real quick, just to address, Lex asked if this was a 1 p.m. start. I know she's in California, so that would be 4 p.m. Eastern time. Generally, that is when we're going to start. I have this weird meeting right now for just a short amount of time that goes right up to the hour. Sometimes it bleeds over a couple minutes. Sometimes it doesn't. So just hang with us sometime between 4 p.m. Eastern time and 4:05, 4:10. I try to update YouTube as quickly as possible so everybody can see what that'll be. But yeah, that's what's happening right now. She's just, it's just crazy with work, but this project's due to launch in the next week or two. So hopefully we'll be back to a consistent right at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific time on the start time. Yeah. And Corey says she's not just Cheryl, she's awesome.
Oh, thank you, Corey. Are you hitting on me? I'm just kidding with you. All right. Well, it's post-Thanksgiving, and I like the title of today, Nutrition During the Holiday Stretch. So, where do you want to start? How was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was wonderful. I got to spend it with my daughter and her boyfriend. They spent the whole weekend here. We did tons of stuff, all the decorating of the house, all the stuff getting ready for Christmas, because we won't see her again until Christmas time. So it was really fun playing games, decorating, doing all the stuff. And just hanging out all weekend.
I love that. I had kind of similar Thursday. Well, it's funny because I hosted this year, and the lead up to Thanksgiving, and I mean, this is my first year hosting at my house, but it's not my first year doing the cooking. I typically do most of the cooking, but I'll be honest, I enjoyed the day after Thanksgiving more than Thanksgiving because my parents were here and my nephew, and I just felt like way more relaxed with like not having so much like to do. And it was almost like, I don't know, it was great. So I'm glad about that. And you did the cooking, right?
Correct.
How'd everything come out?
Great.
Same here. Amazing. I'll be honest, and I'll be honest, guys, turkey is probably one of like, there's nothing exciting about turkey. Like, it's just white meat, right? And I think the thing about turkey is you either cook a turkey and it tastes good, or you cook a turkey and you're hoping that there's enough gravy to cover the taste of the turkey. And my turkey was freaking awesome. As I'm cutting it, I'm like, guys, look at this turkey. Do you see this? I was so proud. I was so happy it came out good. So that's awesome. Any desserts?
My daughter spent the afternoon with her boyfriend's family, and they sent up a cherry pie. But that's not really my thing. So I didn't really do dessert, so it was cool.
Yeah.
But I will say, other than the Thanksgiving dinner, I cooked dinner Saturday night. I made the best pot roast I've ever made in my life. And it was so good and so comforting because it has gotten really cold here, and it was just amazing.
Yeah, we're getting our first little. We've had a couple of little.
Don't even.
But today's the day where it's like, I think it might be in the 50s today a little bit. It's definitely, but it's overcast, and it's kind of like that. It's the very mild day that you get in like September.
28.
Is what?
28 here.
Yeah, no.
28.
I can't do that. It's no. Today is a day where I'm like, ooh, it's that little bit of a chill. So I
He
don't know.
knows.
Do you know where Judy
Judy
lives?
she lives in Columbus,
Oh,
outside of Columbus.
okay.
It is so damn cold. So
Yeah.
damn cold.
See, I don't love that. I don't. I mean, I don't love the heat either, but it's definitely a little chilly today. I love that Kenneth said the best thing about turkey is the sandwich. And I'll be honest, like I used to like there's like some really cool sandwich recipes with like leftovers, like where you like turkey, cranberry, turkey, little stuffing, like a Thanksgiving sandwich definitely sounds way better than just having a plate of turkey. But yeah, but so but cherry pie, not really my thing either. I will be honest, I made the best Dutch apple pie. I made everything homemade. Did that. I made the cheesecake and my parents love that like pudding pie. But I had entirely too much food. Entirely too much food. So, ooh, that sounds
So
amazing. Pretty, yeah.
so I have not seen party rye since my parents would make like hors d'oeuvres for a party.
What is party
And
rye as opposed to regular rye?
it's like an inch square piece of rye, like
Hmm.
literally like the size of a cracker.
Okay, I've seen those. Yes.
And then
Yeah.
you make like mini or like finger sandwiches out of
Okay.
it.
Oh, yes, I have seen those. Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure that's amazing, Jody.
Yeah. Man, good old all I think of when I think of rye bread is like a really good Reuben sandwich. This is a nutrition uh podcast. So we can talk about this stuff. But man, a good Reuben, the Russian dressing, the sauerkraut, which is really the only way that I'll eat sauerkraut, but used to love it when we would do that for dinner sometimes. So
Yeah, I
anyways,
grew up German, so we had to have sauerkraut.
oh yeah. Did you guys used to do the with the brats too and the sauerkraut or the kielbasa and the sauerkraut, whatever it is? My grandmother used to make something like that. Something so I don't know. Boiled potatoes with some kind of a sausage and sauerkraut. That's what I remember as a kid.
All the pork in sauerkraut, whatever the flavor of the month was.
Yeah. Well, post Thanksgiving, you made a good pot roast, which is something that I haven't made in years. Although I have been craving stew, and I've been thinking about making a stew. And I've been trying to play around with that kinds of stuff for you guys as clients because people really stress out about how to log recipes, and it's so easy and like so easy to be accurate with it once you do it a couple of times. So like I'm gonna try and maybe make like a beef stew this weekend if it stays cool, like if it stays warm, because otherwise when it's freaking 90 degrees outside, nobody wants to be eating soup. So hopefully it'll stay somewhat cool here.
And
Um,
my pot roast was somewhere in between a stew and a pot roast.
yeah.
And for the listeners, my in-laws used to raise cattle. But my father-in-law is now 88 and they've kind of backed off from that just in the last year or so. So they actually gave us some of the meat from one of the cows. So we know it's like
Really good.
no steroids, none of that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's probably why it was so good.
Pot roast is such one of those comfort foods for me that brings back memories because my grandmother did not cook at all growing up, but the only thing she cooked was she cooked the rouladen. This is like this old like dish with like meat and cheese or meat and pickle and bacon, or pot roast. And her pot roast, when she would make a pot roast, literally it would smoke up the house because she put so much pepper on it when she seared it that like literally it would like burn your eyes. But whatever, it used to come
Oh,
out so good.
I had every window in the house open in the morning,
Yeah.
searing it in my cast iron skillet because the smoke was just rolling everywhere. So it would have brought
Yep.
back a ton of memories for you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I remember. I just remember like, oh my God, grandma's cooking pot roast. Like you'd be coughing, like, but it would always come out so good. So Christmas tree is up, decorations are up,
Yep.
Thanksgiving is done. Um, your
And
weight is yeah,
I was bad this week. I did not log.
I know, I know,
I
I know.
just got into family stuff and
Well, we're gonna talk about that. I'm actually not so unhappy about that. I actually want to talk about that today. Actually, your weight's at 289.
289.8 this morning.
Yep. So we broke 290, which is freaking awesome. I think under 285 before the new year is definitely doable. Definitely think it's doable. Wow. I think what's so cool about this is I do write emails if you guys are on my email list. And one of my emails I was going to write was talking about like, you shouldn't be dieting through the holidays, but you can still lose weight in the holidays, like, which is exactly what you're doing. Like, you're not quote unquote dieting, but you're still losing weight because you're focused on the right things. So, so fill me in a little bit, just kind of like, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I'm up a half a pound this week.
Oh, you're
But
up half a pound? Oh,
yeah,
because
so
it says
I was 289.4 last Tuesday,
okay.
and now
Okay,
I'm 289.8.
oh, you know why? It's because I'm looking at last week's number. So, okay, so just so you can see,
So
it looks
today I didn't put in the number yet. It is 289.8.
yeah, when I'm looking at the calendar, I'm thinking that the day you have in there was yesterday's as in Monday, but it was the week before that was Monday. Okay. Well, being up half a pound after Thanksgiving is not really a bad thing. Like, right? That's pretty freaking awesome. And with not tracking a thing last week. So that's not actually a bad thing. So just basically was mostly the holiday week. Just got to you, kind of like took a break from everything. Aside from Thanksgiving, food choices, food quality, how was that?
Um, I think it was really good because I had the Thanksgiving food on Thanksgiving, and I think I told you last week, like that's not my thing anymore.
Yeah.
And like I did not eat it again after.
Yeah. Gotcha. Well, and we talked about this last time as like one of the main reasons for having a food diary. So I can take a look at, all right, what are you actually eating? You know, are you getting in any vegetables? Like I know for a while, like after your wild health visit, we were talking about like, hey, we got to start optimizing things like fiber and stuff. And it was like, hey, let's focus on one thing at a time. At that time, you were dealing with the acid reflux and we were going through that stuff. And I do think that like now is not the time to like get super nitpicky about everything, but now is the time of year where you should be able to kind of maintain some structure and still make sure you're getting in the good stuff and you're not just resorting to the wrong thing. So has your meals been pretty routine?
Very routine, except for I said last week my goal was to eat a salad a day
Mhm.
just to kind of get some green vegetables in for
Yep.
sure. And I did that probably definitely 5 out of 7 days.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Uh, this weekend you're home, and then next week it's you're heading to Arizona, correct?
Legends. Yep.
Okay. When do you leave for that?
Wednesday morning, 7 a.m.
Okay, and you're gone for how many days?
I'm gone. I come back Sunday night.
Okay. All right. So Wednesday through Sunday. So like my expectations while you're away are you're likely going to be busy and you know we'll have a podcast episode before that, but like you're likely going to be busy doing busy things, media things. Do you have a pretty packed schedule from Wednesday through Sunday?
I don't know the schedule yet. We're having Joe Linton on tomorrow, the executive director
Mhm.
of Legends. So hopefully with that, I'll get more information as well as the audience getting more information about
Yeah.
the event.
Okay, cool. Are you bringing a carry or sorry, are you packing a checking a bag or are you just bringing carry on?
I have to check a bag with my media equipment.
Okay. Let's just make sure that you pack smart. Like I definitely want to make sure you think about some things. It's not the wrong thing to think about things like going to your local Walmart or grocery store and buying things cheaper so that you don't have to get stuck buying them there more expensive. Like buy some jerky, buy like some protein powder, buy like some protein bars, things like that. Stuff them in your suitcase if you're going to have it, you know, because they're not going to weigh a whole bunch. And they won't take obviously you're mostly just checking your camera crew equipment. So that stuff is great to bring with you. What I like to do is I like to it sounds dumb, but like pack a couple of Tupperwares that you can use for meals. And what I'll do is I'll put like my clothes and stuff in the Tupperwares, even if they don't like necessarily fit with the lids on, because it doesn't make them take up any more space. But now when I unpack, I can take those things out and use them for whatever, being at the venue and stuff like that. But that's not till next week. And the reason I wanted to bring it up is because I wanted to focus on this week.
Well, and the good news is in Arizona, we have an Airbnb.
Okay, cool.
So full kitchen.
Even better. Even better.
Yeah.
I would try and take a look at how far away from your Airbnb. I'm really big about like, where's my local grocery store? Where's my local Starbucks? Which I know you're not a Starbucks guy, but like, definitely making sure that I have some coffee. Isn't that a great idea, Judy? It works like a charm. You could do it for everything. I remember one year I was packing and I'm like, I wish I had some Tupperwares and I don't want to buy them when I get there and then just throw them away. So I'm like, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll put my clothes inside of them and then put them in the suitcase. So they're not taking up any extra room. Or you can put like makeup in them or whatever. And now when you get there, you don't need them for those things. You can use them for food. So shaker bottles, like what I'll do is if I want to bring a water bottle, I'll like bag up some of my oats. If I'm going to bring oats for breakfast, I'll put them in the shaker bottle and then put them in my suitcase. I do all kinds of smart stuff like that. Just smart packing. So other hack, clothing hack, never fold your clothes. Always roll your clothes. Rolling them up just takes up less space, which a lot of you guys probably already know that. That's not a nutrition tip. So,
Yeah.
let's talk squats. Did you get the death by done?
Oh, good Lord. Yes.
Yeah. How far did you make it?
I made it to round 18.
Ooh.
I probably could have gone more, but at that point I knew like the damage was going to be worse than the benefit.
Yeah. So 18 reps in, 18 rounds in. What is that?
So I did not finish 18. I was going through 18 and I got to like 8 or 9 and I'm like, there's like the end was near anyway. Like I was not going to make it many more, but I was like, it's time to call it.
Dude, I remember, this workout I remember doing when I was at Bergeron's. It was a death by squat clean, but it started off at like 155 for women. So you would do like death by squat clean at 155, and then it was like 125, and then it was like 95, and then it was like 65. And you know me, you know what kind of athlete I am. So guess who's the one like left standing on that 65-pound barbell just dying? Yeah, that was me. I remember that, and I'm like, oh my God, it was so many squat cleans, like so many squat cleans. So I know your legs are burning. It definitely were burning. But I feel like we're going to be ready for the retest.
And then I did the 9-minute AMRAP.
Okay. How'd that go?
Every minute, 30 single unders.
Yep.
And then max effort squats. My goal was to get 10 a minute. That did not last very long. And it's not because of my legs. It is my engine.
Okay.
And so I'm almost inclined that should be December. A couple more stuff like that to help me get my engine up, to help me now that I can do more volume of these body weight things.
I love it. And you know, your coach loves engine work. I love engine work. In fact, being so injured this year, it's been a lot of what I've been able to do. And I can modify things very easily for you. So, and you have a bike. So good things to work on.
It is getting cold. So I'm going to have to rely more on CrossFit Polaris than my garage for sure.
Yeah. Is your garage really cold?
It is. I have like a propane heater that's out there, but if it's really cold, like it doesn't cut much of it out.
I'm going to be honest. I'd be the person bringing the dang bike inside. I'd be like, how can I get this bike inside?
I probably could bring it down here.
Yeah.
And put it like under the steps.
I mean, at the end of the day, since you're not really using the gym equipment in the winter anyways, you probably would get use out of the bike if it was in a warmer place. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably bring my kettlebells and my bike down here.
Yeah.
With no problem.
I would
sandbag even.
Yeah, I would at least do the bike because the bike will be helpful. I mean, I think it does get cold in Florida. Like it won't be in the 20s very much, but we'll get some days. We're about to get conditioned like a shampoo commercial. Oh my God, that's awesome. No, there'll be some days in the 30s and 40s here. But the good thing is that for whatever reason, the garage stays pretty warm. Like when I had my garage gym last year, I was grateful because I was like, oh my God, it's warm.
Okay. 50s, 20s.
I said 30s and 40s. We'll have a few days in the 30s and 40s. We don't get many of them, but when
We
those
will
days
have a few
come,
months in
yeah.
the 20s and 30s.
Yeah, but remember, like I said, we have August and you guys don't. August sucks. August is so bad. You just can't
Okay.
you don't know it's the same thing. It's like, "Oh my gosh, if people only knew what it feels like to literally walk around with slush puppies because your shoes are soaked like you were in a puddle." Hey, don't give away our secrets. It's funny, Bruce. Um, anyways, so I feel like we're due for our retest, but I feel like I wanna kind of let you recover a little bit. So maybe Friday, when do you wanna do
Yeah,
the
I
retest?
think that's yeah, Friday should be good.
I think Friday, we'll get a retest in.
Yeah,
And
Friday
then
or Saturday, I'll bang that out.
yeah, and then we'll retest, and then we'll start engine work. Next week, we'll do 2 engine sessions because I'll have you get them in before you head off to Legends. And then because I know Legends, you're not gonna really likely be doing much of working out. Are you guys planning on going to the gym?
Well, I mean, Jamie's competing,
Okay.
so I don't know what access we'll have or what. And actually, so Jamie's competing, Jim's competing. They're both staying in the Airbnb with me. Um, so I don't know what their plan is, and I don't know what access I'll have to like the warm up area during the week.
Yeah. So you're probably not getting much fitness in next week. If anything, I can give you some stuff to do, but it's up to you if you're gonna do it do it or not. Like I get it. It's hard. It's hard when you're doing that. Where am I located?
Here, Jeffrey Birchfield says, "Where are you located, Cheryl?"
I am located in Florida, East Coast, about 45 minutes north of Palm Beach. Don't be a serial killer and come kill me now. So I'm
So
kidding
not
with
that.
you. Yeah, I'm just kidding with you. But that's where I'm at. I'm in a place called Port St. Lucie. So about 45 minutes north of Palm Beach, about an hour and a half north of Miami. It's actually a great location. It's about an hour and a half south of Orlando, hour and a half north of Miami. So it's kind of like the perfect spot in terms of being close to things proximity wise.
So Corey
So
says my garage stays about mid 50s at the lowest when it gets down close to freezing around here, and he's in
yeah.
Louisiana. And he
Yeah.
also says Jim Peeper is a legend, and that is the gym that I'm staying with.
Okay. Well, technically he is a legend if he's in the Legends comp too.
Yeah,
So
he's actually 65 plus.
yeah.
And he podiumed at the games 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm looking at some of the other comments. Eric Wise. Uh, all right. So we got engine challenge the month of December, which I actually love for you. Why? Because I think people worry so much about weight gain during the holidays. Like, oh my God, all this food, I'm going to gain weight. And it's really not the holidays that cause weight gain, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, the Christmas parties, the cookies. It's really, especially for those of you guys in colder climates, you don't want to go outside. So your movement goes down a lot. You'd rather be cuddled up in front of a fire eating comfort food. So your calorie intake goes up because the foods that you're craving are now warm and like fattening. So movement staying up is one of the best things that you should do. And I think that people like demonize cardio so much outside of the CrossFit space. Like outside of the CrossFit space, you hear some people like, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing so much cardio." I'm like cardio is a part of fitness. Like that's why we do it, to build our cardio, right? So our cardio is our heart. But doing some more cardio in the wintertime is only going to help offset the fact that you aren't doing as much daily movement as you normally do. So you're not wanting to, even your days are shorter. So you're likely not moving as long throughout your day. Like if you're typically in the summertime, it's a longer day, so you're moving around for a longer amount of hours. Now in the wintertime, it gets condensed down, so you're not even moving as much throughout the day. So, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yard work goes away. Like I just finished the last batch of leaves this weekend. Like, and then there'll be nothing till we mow in the spring.
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, but you get to plow snow instead, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
shovel snow.
shovel
I
snow.
don't have a plow.
It just brings back. I used to dog sit when I lived up in New England, and I remember one of my first times dog sitting at this person's house. I was like, "Oh, this is awesome! I'm not going to have to worry about shoveling the snow off my car because I can put my car in their garage because they had a garage." And I was all excited, and then like I realized, well, that kind of sucks because now the snow has now locked me in the garage. So now I've got to shovel the entire driveway to get out of the garage. So it kind of bit me in the ass. But yeah,
People who tell you you shouldn't be doing cardio aren't your friends and don't have your best interest at heart.
it's so funny. Yeah, at heart, literally. No. I just think cardio gets it's just there's a difference. Anything in excess is bad. You lift too much, you're at risk of injury. You do too much cardio, you're probably going to have a hard time maintaining that. Like too much food, you're going to gain weight. It just doesn't matter. Like everything has its thing. Too much stress is bad. I learned that the hard way. By the way, can you guys tell how much more energy I have again? I'm sorry, I just have to say it. I didn't give you an update, Scott, but your coach is finally coming back to life again after months of feeling like I actually have been feeling better. So this is not my journey. This is Scott's journey, but I feel like I'm feeling so much better again, which is just something I had to tell you.
Well, truly, this is our journey, and
Yeah.
we want to know your updates.
Yeah.
But Jody, no truer statement has ever been said.
Yes.
Snow equals pain in the ass.
I would agree. And I will take rain over snow any day. So as much as our climates are extreme, I will take a rainstorm over a snowstorm any day. I will take a hurricane over I will take a hurricane over the snowstorm any day because our hurricanes, luckily, God forbid, like luckily we've been very lucky. So
Jaybird says, I prefer to lift for reps to get my cardio in, lightweight, max reps.
oh, lightweight, baby. Ain't nothing but a
So
fever.
just to explain to the audience, the workout that she had me do was a 9-minute AMRAP where at the top of the minute, I did 30 single unders and then max rep squats, air squats. So at the top of the next minute, then another 30 single unders, max squat. My goal was to get 10 a minute. So the 30 singles, 10 squats, get to the top, go. By minute 4, that went out the window because my heart rate was just going up and there's no rest in that. And it never came down trying to bang out the air squats immediately following the single unders. So then it got to be a vicious cycle and I dive bombed.
Yeah. Well, we're going to work on your pacing this month. You're going to learn so much about yourself. It's a fun thing to work on your engine because guess what? When you're working on your engine, you don't feel like death. People think that working on your engine means you're going to hurt worse. You actually end up hurting less because you learn how to pace and hold back and all that kinds of stuff. So I love this for you. All right. So shifting gears a little bit, we're going into the engine stuff. We've got about 7-ish days until the Legends. All right. So other thing that I want to talk to you about today that I feel like is, yes, I know that you see faster progress when you're tracking your food. I do know that. Like, I think that you do it, you're dialed in, you're eating enough stuff. I think that what I'd like to say to you today is that I think you're in a season where it's going to be an on or off switch every week where we're going to have this struggle that we have to either go all in or all out. My thoughts are this. Your meals throughout the day, are they pretty routine? Meals and snacks. Besides dinner.
Breakfast for sure. Lunch has been like generally what I had for dinner the night before.
Okay. But do you have a pretty good understanding of like these meals have about the right amount of protein in them and this amount of calories?
Yeah, I make sure that I like protein is probably my biggest focus.
Okay.
And then lately it's been just getting some fresh vegetables. So whether that be through a salad or through just cooking vegetables themselves.
Okay. So how do you feel about if your meals are pretty similar? throughout the week and then even on the weekends. What if I just had you track 2 days during the week and then 1 day on the weekend, like 3 days this week? This way we're like, okay, it's pretty consistent. Like Monday, Tuesday were pretty much the same. Wednesday, Thursday were pretty much the same. Friday and Saturday were pretty much the same. Or do you feel like you can get back on track all the way?
I think I can get back on track all the way. It's going to be tough at Legends.
Yeah.
But I don't really have anything going on this week, so there's no excuse not to track. And I've saved more and more meals, and the more I get saved, the easier it becomes.
That's such a good tip, right? It's easy. Okay. I love this. See, this is great. And this is where it's knowing where to push and when not. I think that this is great. This week is I'm all in on my goals. Next week, I'm all in on a different goal. I'm going to be fully present at the event. I'm going to maintain some structure in my eating. I'm going to work on making sure I'm prioritizing protein, but I'm not going to worry about being in a food tracker because I care more about getting some good coverage. Like that's my expectations. And I think that would be a great plan.
I'm all in for that.
And this way I can actually see how much vegetables you're getting in, how much protein, how much fiber. And, this way we can become more aware of that stuff and see where we can maybe add some stuff in.
Okay.
So awesome. How has all of your like GI symptoms been, your acid reflux and all that?
So it's getting better. I started the drops. The doctor called them in last Tuesday. The pharmacy didn't have them till Saturday. So I started them on Saturday, but I had 3 dogs in my house this weekend.
Okay. So it's hard to tell.
So
Yeah.
I'm kind of coming off that, but I didn't have a single asthma attack from the time I started taking the drops.
Okay. That's good.
Which is massive improvement. But then when they leave, now I'm in the like drainage of all that.
Yeah.
So I just got to get a couple days, and then I think we'll truly see how the drops are working.
I gotcha. Well, I'm glad to hear that's getting better. Like it's probably been better for your sleep and all that kind of stuff. Because it's no fun when you're looking at making all those changes.
So I'm not even waking up at night anymore with the drops.
Good. It's good too.
And I am very like I get to use them once a day. So I use them in the evening so that they're most effective while I'm sleeping.
Yeah. It's cool because your coach has been sleeping better too. More improvements. Like, oh my God, you have no idea how good it feels to wake up like refreshed. Like, oh, this is what it's like to be alive in the morning. Oh my gosh, you don't know how bad you feel until you feel better. And I know that you're a testament to that as well. Like you kind of sit in your slump and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is what it feels like to be me again. So I love it. So this week I'm going to be looking for a food diary. Finishing up, I want to hear a report on the squats. Next week we'll start engine work. I guess last thing is how does your nutrition change? Obviously, seasonally, right? Like, so we're going into the winter season and you're going into obviously, colder weather. A lot of people are always like, oh, we need some like warm weather recipes. You've been doing this with me now for a few years. So summertime to wintertime, you obviously made a pot roast this week. Are you making more of that kinds of stuff on a regular basis now?
Not generally. Like we have like more chili or stuff like that, but like usually turkey chili. We make it very lean. And it is like you want that warm whatever because it's cold.
Yeah.
I don't generally make a ton of pot roast. Like it's just we had this one from the family.
Right.
And I thought I would use it. For me, the hardest part about the holidays is more temptation. Right? I'm not a sweets guy, but when they're all around you, it's tough. Thankfully, I'm remote working now and I'm working from home. So that has actually been cut down dramatically. But you still go to friend's house, family's house, and it's everywhere. That's the hardest part. And that my wife and daughter want to partake in that stuff.
Mhm. Well, this is a good I'm glad that we segued into this. This is a good topic. I think it is a good time to maybe bring it up is like, okay, so temptations aren't there with work, but you do have family that wants to be able to do things, I'm sure, like bake cookies and stuff. Do you feel comfortable being able to enjoy a couple of cookies and not feel guilty about it, or to log it and feel good about it?
I'm okay with it like one evening
Okay.
having a cookie or two. But when things like start rolling back to back to back,
Yeah.
like I just want it to end.
Yep. But the cool thing, I'm glad you say that, is it I love when people are like, "I just wish people would stop bringing all this food around." It's like, well, if you just tell yourself, I can have it. I don't want to have it right now, right? Like I'd rather have the cookies that we're baking at home with my kid than, the random stuff that somebody just dropped off that was from some like Harry and Winston's, freaking holiday gourmet cookies that were made, 6 months ago, and it's packaged and, like literally full of preservatives, right? Like experience versus, oh, this is just there. So I think that if we stop like trying to stop bringing me this stuff, like, okay, if you don't want it, you don't have to have it, right? And I do wonder about the of that because I do want you to feel like you can enjoy that stuff. And a little hack that I give you guys for logging things, let's just say you are making like desserts or cookies. Those things typically people are like, how do I log this stuff if I'm trying to track it? Simplest way to do it, okay? So there's going to be 1,000 different sugar cookie recipes, 1,000 different chocolate chip cookie recipes, 1,000 different apple pie recipes. But guess what? They all have pretty much the same core ingredients with a few little twists here and there. So usually it's the same amount of butter, flour, sugar, all those things. So the main ingredients are pretty much the same. So the hack is this, okay? Rather than trying to figure out the size of the cookie and all this stuff, right? Just look up a store-bought variety, right? Like don't even look for a recipe. Just go to like, Marie Callender's Dutch apple pie, or Entenmann's, pound cake, or what are the brands called? Pepperidge Farm, Chessman butter cookies, whatever it is. And on those packages, they will have like one cookie is this much, but in parentheses, it also says like 28 grams. That's how much the cookie should weigh. So now you can literally like weigh out a cookie and be like, okay, that's the 28 grams of cookie. I'm going to use that label and I'm going to log it. And guess what? You're probably going to be within 50 calories of the right macros. So it's the easiest one to way to do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, it
So
looks like I know we've talked about this in the past. Like Kenneth say, my family legit gets offended if you kindly say no.
yeah, that's a good thing to bring up.
Jody says, I don't bring any goodies to events anymore. People are struggling enough with food in our circles. And I know the struggle.
So there's two things to talk about with Kenneth. All right. This is such a big thing, is like, we have to ask ourselves this: what is people pleasing really doing for us? Just eating food because we're worried about how it's going to affect other people is really, especially when what goes in our mouth doesn't really affect them. If somebody gets offended because they don't want to you don't want to eat a cookie and they don't understand the reason why, like that's not your responsibility to get them to understand that. You know, Usually the best way to deflect is like, honestly, I've made a huge transition in my life, and it's something that I've really tried to cut back on eating these kinds of foods. They don't make me feel very good. And a person should respect that. And if they don't, then it's not your responsibility to get them to. And guess what? If they're your family, they're likely not going to disown you. They're going to still love you. They might be a little butthurt, but at the end of the day, you're going to walk away from that feeling just fine. And they're going to walk away from it feeling just fine. If they get offended because your food decisions aren't in line with them, it's not that big deal. Not your fault.
Corey says, my mom used to worry if I didn't eat like an asshole at Christmas.
What's wrong with you? Are you sick? Oh man, that's funny. Yeah.
And Judy says, let them be offended, Kenneth.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, at the end of the day, why are they offended? Usually when a person gets offended by you saying no, it has less to do with them offering you food and you not taking it, and more to do with like their own feelings about themselves. It's usually what it has to do with.
Eric Weiss feels Kenneth.
Yeah. I
I
used
think
to
a
get
lot
it
of
all
people
the
go
time.
through that.
Yeah.
I know, like we talked about it last week. When I lost weight the first time, I was very unbalanced. Like
Yep.
I was very focused on losing weight and just that, and not my family, not the memories at all.
Mhm.
And I am sure that I offended people by the way I ate and didn't eat their food or whatever. But you have taught me balance in this, that like I can go to somebody's house, I can eat that food for one night and it doesn't affect everything. Like I'm
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah.
Where I just get into problem during the holidays is when that stretches into 4 and 5 days.
Yep. Yep. And that's where you have to, I like people to say, prioritize your parties. Like, choose which ones are where you want to be more flexible. Like, if you guys had 3 different Thanksgiving events this weekend, maybe you're choosing the one where you're like, the food is what this is about. I'm not going to track a thing. I don't care. But the other 2 days, I'm limiting myself to one plate. I'm going to really try and be balanced on it, and I'm going to walk away. Like, that's probably what most people should be doing, you know? So, yeah.
I'm not sure this is the endorsed way of handling the situation by us, but Eric says, Kenneth, look them straight in the eye, flip the plate upside down and ask them how it really makes them feel.
Y'all are getting rowdy today. All right. All right, guys.
I
Um,
love the approach, but I'm not sure we should endorse it.
yeah. Yeah. Judy, you're Chinese, not black, and I'm fairly certain you aren't a sheep. Oh, geez. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. I'm also a little bit of the black sheep in my family. I shouldn't say the black sheep. I'm just very different than everybody in my family. So, anyways, all right, kids. I actually have to get going. I have another call after this podcast today. But this was super fun. So, today we know what we're doing this week, right? We are tracking our food. We're hitting the squat test. Next week we start building our engine. What else, Scott?
We're tracking. We're getting ready for Legends. I can't wait to get to Legends. Just to tell everybody, like I cannot wait to cover that event.
That's gonna be so
It's going to be so fun. And
yeah.
Eric, there was a time in my life where I would have flipped the plate, no apologies,
Yeah.
and I probably would have given them the one finger salute on the way out the door.
Would it be more offensive if you took the food and then you just walked over to the trash can and threw it away? Like, oh, you want me to take it? Okay, no problem. Here you go. Like, I mean, that could be more offensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all can stay on. Best show of the week. You guys are awesome. I want to stay on. I'm gonna be okay being a few minutes late. I'm fine with that. So y'all matter to me more anyways.
Well, we should probably let you get to the call, and I've got to go log out of work for the day. So,
all right, guys. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how you do in the squat test next week.
Bruce, I may be doing both. TBD.
We're gonna get him to do both.
TBD.
We're gonna get him to do both. Don't worry, Bruce. I'm working on it. We're working on it.
With that, we'll catch everybody next time on the Clydesdale Media Weight Loss Journey. Bye, guys.